Can't sleep.
Can't eat.
It's Code Blue Week. Titans, Texans, next. Welcome to Titan Upload. What a huge matchup this weekend. The Houston Texans come to town, and it's one huge step closer towards that division title. We beat the Houston Texans twice. The Tennessee Titans are your AFC South champs. However, none of that matters if we lose this week against the Texans. And unfortunately for us, it's not looking great in the wild card situation with the Steelers. We will dive into that later. But let's not talk wild card. Let's talk Houston Texans. Let's talk AFC South. Let's talk how hot the Tennessee Titans are coming into this matchup. And are we going to come in a little bit healthier in the secondary? I got some good news. I got some bad news. And then what's the latest on Derrick Henry and his injury? And Texans got one big injury as well. We'll get to that. So let's dive in. Let's look at the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans as they're about to clash this Sunday. So here we go on Titan Upload. So the Houston Texans come to town, and you know what? Their offense is phenomenal. Now, Denver pretty much shut them down for most of the game, but Deshaun Watson is having a great year. Basically 3,400 passing yards and 24 touchdowns through the air, 7 on the ground. I mean, he's got roughly a little bit over 300 yards of rushing. He's doing it all this year. He's got very limited interceptions, and he's winning big games, of course. They beat the Patriots this year. They beat the Chiefs at Kansas City. Those are probably their two highlight wins. Now, they do have some big losses. They got destroyed 41-7 to the Ravens. Of course, the Ravens are awesome. And then they also lost they were pretty much upset last week against the Broncos, which definitely helped us out here for the Titan front. I think for the most part, when you look up this matchup, there are two big indicators. Number one, the Texans are +8 in point differential. That's huge for us. Why? Because we're +64. The Ravens are like +200 plus, like 210 or something. The Ravens number is phenomenal. The Patriots are like +170. Houston Texans only +8? What does that exactly mean? Well, according to the media, it means a lot. It meant a lot a couple years ago with the Titans when we were trying to fight our way into the playoffs, which we did. And basically, that point differential for the Titans was extremely low. It did not give us any credibility with the media, and they didn't think we stood a chance. We ended up beating the Chiefs. And then we went to New England and lost, but you know what? We got to the divisional round, and that point differential was not great. So with the Texans coming to town, the keys are obviously to stop them offensively, if we can limit them. The problem is our secondary is all beat up. Vaccaro has a concussion. So although he was a full participant today, and yesterday was limited, so it's good to see him on the practice field, you just never know with a concussion. My guess, he plays. Then we move on to Adoree Jackson. I mean, Adoree Jackson hasn't practiced last week, and he hasn't practiced so far this week. My guess, he's not playing this week with his foot. And then finally, LaShawn Sims actually was full participant back at practice today. He was basically a limited yesterday. So it looks like Sims is progressing to be able to play this week, which is definitely big news for us. Now, some of you may not like Sims, or you may think he's not very good. Trust me, Sims can hold his own, and that's very, very important, especially if Vaccaro, for whatever reason, can't go with the concussion. So then you're moving in Hooker, and then Byard's got to do more. That secondary is going to be tested this week. Now, Fuller's coming in with a hamstring injury. He didn't play last week. And to be quite honest, Houston Texan fans are getting a little not sure what you would do with a speed guy and a hamstring. Now, we know all about hamstrings with Derrick Henry. Marcus Mariota had one a couple years ago that really hampered him throughout the season. But Henry's a power back compared to Fuller, which is a speed guy. And if I'm going to guess which hamstring's probably going to impact the player the most, I'm going to go with the speed guy. As far as the Texans' defense, Tennessee Titans got all the chances in the world Texans come in with the 27th pass defense. Drew Lock looked amazing last week against this Texans defense. They don't have J.J. Watt. Whitney Merciless is playing pretty well. Cunningham from Vanderbilt, we know him well. Well, at least most Titans know him well because of the Vanderbilt connection. He's been playing well. I think he leads the team in tackles. Their secondary's not great. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? They don't come in with a lot of sacks. They're just basically a defense that we've kind of seen before. They are a division opponent, so they're obviously going to match up with us a little bit better compared to most teams just because they know us so well. But do they know Ryan Tannehill? I'm sure they know what kind of streak he's been on. He was named AFC Player of the Week offensively. Derrick Henry is the ground player of the week again for the 4th straight time. So this Tennessee Titans offense has just totally transformed itself. So going against that defense in Houston, I think we match up quite well. Can the Tennessee Titans win this week against Houston and get the division lead? Well, if we're going to do it, I see these keys working out for us. Key number 1, limit something offensively for the Texans. I don't care what it is. Limit the pass. If you can do it, it's going to be tough, but if you can do it, great. Put pressure on Watson. Limit his ability to get out of the pocket and run. That would be great. Or just totally stop the run. Just don't let any of these backs get anything and just continue to shut them down and make Watson one-dimensional. Put pressure on Watson where he feels he has to make plays. And maybe if he feels like that, he will turn the ball over like he did last week, or even, in his past games where he hasn't done them well. Again, he's only got 9 interceptions, so it's not like he's turned the ball over an awful lot. But last week, he did look, and the team offensively did not look like their true self. They really struggled against the Broncos, and we know that we've struggled against the Broncos. For crying out loud, we lost 16-0. I know you're going to get into the quarterback situation, but we'll just
stop you right there and keep moving with this preview.
So that's key number 1. Key number 2 is for the offense to be us. Just continue to be consistent. Why change anything? Run the ball like we've been running it, play action like we've been play actioning it, and let Ryan Tannehill make plays. I trust him. I want to pay him for next year and the year after. I want to give him a contract. I want him to be our quarterback in the next couple of years. He's earned that right. He's been playing lights out, offensive player of the week, and he's just putting up an amazing stat line for us. Something we really haven't seen here in a long, long time. So let's not change it up. Let's not have Ryan Tannehill throw for 50 passes this week. So Arthur Smith, do what you do. Get Derrick Henry the ball. He is playing according to Derrick Henry. And just let him run, and then we got the play action. Something's going to open up. I expect Jonnu Smith to have a good game this week. I expect A.J. Brown to continue to... who's going to stop A.J. Brown? The Houston Texans come in with 10 INTs, which ain't bad, but we come in with 11. But the point of the story is, I feel like this team, offensively, can put up points now. We basically put up more points than the Texans do by 0.1. It's not a huge deal. But the Titans have been showing up lately offensively. Just hope that continues. Number 3. 3 is a very, very big one. Why? Because it's going to fuel everything. And special teams. So 3rd key is special teams. We've been doing great in this category. We've been improving across the board except for one area, and that's kicker. So this week, let's just hope we continue to maybe make big plays, whether it's a block, a nice return, limiting penalties, just limiting turnovers on special teams for themselves, and not give easy field position for the Texans. Make everything a struggle for the Texans. Make them go 80, 90 yards all the time. Win that field position battle. Again, kicking, though, could be a main concern. Yes, we can put up points, but so can they. You never know when you need that field goal. And to be quite honest, I'm really getting sick and tired of going out there and watching field goal kickers miss kicks this year. It's caused a lot of concerns and chaos for us. The only one that's been really decent, I can't believe I'm going to say this, is Parkey. He was 3 for 3, and he missed an extra point, but he made a 50-yard field goal out of that. Ryan Suckup has not been the same. So 1 for 5, not exactly excited about this. And what's really problematic, he hasn't made one kick beyond 40 yards this year. Yes, he's only basically tried 5 attempts, but all those long attempts he's missed. hasn't made anything beyond 40. That is a concern. So what did they do? We'll get to that next. So let's get into field goal kicking. Obviously, it's a concern. It's so much of a concern that John Robinson brought in a kicker today to basically just test out. It's Brett Maher from the Dallas Cowboys. He was 20 for 30 on the year, which he had his moments, right? He kicked a 63-yard field goal on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles, which was an awesome kick. But then he missed all his kicks against the Bills. And in 13 games this year, there were 8 games where he missed at least one field goal. That's not good. Now, he looked decent from extra points, but Ryan Suckup can at least make extra points. But why this guy? Why now? Why not Parkey? Why not someone else we never heard of, maybe? Well, number one, there's not a lot of kickers out there. I personally would bring Parkey back. That's just me. I can't believe I'm saying that. So why this guy? Well, he can go on the practice squad. That's a big, very, very big thing for John Robinson, because who knows? Maybe he'll get it back together again. Maybe there's something you've seen in his kicking that you think you can fix or correct. But he's a young guy. He's got the practice squad eligibility, which is very important, because if anything would happen to Ryan Suckup, you could throw him out there, and he does have experience. But I'm not so sure that's the right fit for us. But that's definitely going to be problematic going forward. It just doesn't look like Ryan Suckup has it anymore. So Sunday Night Football is looking like there's an option for us to play the Saints next week. The NFL has announced that the Bears, the Chiefs, who are supposed to play next week, and us and the Saints have been notified of the possible change. Now, usually you have to wait a certain amount of days to get this going, but the NFL has decided to talk to the teams and make an exception. So we only need to basically wait the amount of games you would for a week 7 game, or week 17, which is like 6 games. So what has to happen for us to be on Sunday night? Well, actually, it starts with the Bears. Bears got to lose the Packers. And then we got to beat the Texans. And then guess what, Tennessee Titan fans? Nissan Stadium will be rocking again. And maybe another code blue. I'm not sure if there's ever been back-to-back code blues before. But the Tennessee Titans could be playing for a division championship, division title, next Sunday night at home. 1 game at a time. But how does that happen? Well, here's how it happens. We beat the Texans this week. The Texans go and play the Bucs. We're going to know if they win or lose. So let's say they lose. All we have to do is beat the Saints. Tennessee Titans are the division champs. Now the wild card is a little doom and gloom. So the Steelers beat the Bills this week, if that happens, which I guess is a realistic possibility. We know the backstory with the Ravens. The Ravens are going to rest their starters. They're probably going to beat the Browns this coming week, next weekend, and then they're going to rest their starters. So what does that mean? We need the Steelers to lose, but are they really going to lose? So Sunday night, we'll know if the Steelers won their second game against the Jets or not. And if they do, that wild card is locked up, and Pittsburgh's going to be the wild card. So that means we're out. So the question for you guys, comment below. In a scenario where the Tennessee Titans can only win the division on Sunday night, do you rest some key guys like Derrick Henry? Do you rest some key guys like Adoree Jackson if he ends up coming back? Comment below what you do in that situation. Because if your only possibility is to win week 17, then why does that Saints game even matter? So comment below again and let me know what you think. So we'll be live this week, Sunday night, 9:45. Be there, live comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching the preview of the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. But before I let you go, I gotta tell you who I think is gonna win. So here we go. I actually like the Tennessee Titans. Yep, I like the Tennessee Titans at home this week. Although I think it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a lot of points. I'm hoping this is a game where Corey Davis shows up again, and I just hope Derrick Henry can be effective with that hamstring, and I hope it doesn't get worse for him, and I hope we're able to manage offensively. I hope we're able to stop Watson for the most part and Hopkins just a little bit, and hopefully Fuller doesn't play. If Fuller doesn't play, we definitely can focus a little bit more on Hopkins and Stills, but if Fuller even plays, you know what? I have confidence in Landry. I have confidence in Dean Pease. I have confidence in Mike Vrabel. and Arthur Smith that they're going to get the job done this week. We've been really, really good with adjustments in the second half, and I personally believe Mike Vrabel knows a lot about the Texans. I mean, he basically won the game for us week 2 last year when we had big game Blaine Gabbert and no offensive lineman. That's where the trick plays happened. That's where Henry was running Wildcat. I mean, we barely won, but we hung on, and we really did a good job against Watson. Then we played them on Monday Night Football, and that game didn't go as well, but we did start off 10-0, and that's where Mike Vrabel made that huge mistake by giving the ball to Luke Stalker on a 4th and 1 for his first ever carry inside deep Houston territory, and, well, that just basically turned the whole game around, and we ended up getting blown out afterwards. But the post-game afterwards here on Titan Upload, 9:45 Sunday, we can get into your comments, we can dive into it, and we'll know a lot more about where this is going this year. So thanks again for watching, and tighten up.